You only have one life to live, so get the most out of it. On Good Life, Great Life, join me, Brian Highfield, and my guests as we share success stories, habits, mindsets, and lessons learned by successful people. These lessons are not taught in schools, but are critical for getting ahead in life. Whether you want a successful business or career, optimal health, or a lifestyle that most people just dream of, Good Life, Great Life has you covered. After retiring from a successful corporate career in my 40s, I founded multi-million-dollar businesses in the sports and healthcare arenas. Now, I help everyday people maximize their lives and speak regularly at seminars, on podcasts, and radio shows to share principles on the topics of health, wealth, and happiness. Don't let a good life get in the way of a great life. Join me today on Good Life, Great Life. Well, welcome to another episode of Good Life, Great Life. Today we have us with Angelo Ciaramello. Angelo, he has joined millions of Americans during the Great Resignation of 2020, leaving an IT operations job for a single idea about gamifying fintech. And he's 27 years old, which is I find amazing that he's had this much success. And he started up something called the Funded Trader, which we'll talk about a little bit today. So welcome to the program, Angelo.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm very excited to discuss everything that I have going on, and I just want to say it's a pleasure to be on the podcast. Just gave me a bit of background on your story, and I'm really honored to contribute to everything today.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for that. Well, we want to get to know you a little bit. I mean, you worked at the IT. You're working corporate America. Tell us a little bit about the transition or the thought process of like, hey, I want to start my own business.
Yeah, so like you said, I am rather young, 27, although I do know people even younger than I am that are having, some crazy success. But for my story, like most people, I went to college, selected IT as a major. I ended up becoming really passionate about IT and social informatics and just information in general. The whole time I was going through this, though, even at a young age, at 19, 20, 21, I knew that I wanted to do more, right? I knew that as I started getting internships which were really good internships, right? They weren't bad internships. I was sitting in this cubicle, right? I was sitting in this office, and I knew that the culture just wasn't for me. I knew that I wanted to be more of a leader than the opportunities that were presenting themselves, right? Like I was presenting a lot of ideas, and it was just kind of that corporate ladder of, hey, you're at the bottom right now. You can't be saying that, right? Or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I was getting a lot of that feedback. And at the same time, I was going through this sort of transformation mentally, internally, and really just figuring out, who I was, like every young adult, what I truly was passionate about. I was reaching into like, what is my potential, leveraging a lot of resources. Actually, that were at school. I went to Rutgers University. So I was leveraging a lot of resources there. And really just figuring out like, all right, I'm truly passionate as to being a leader in my industry, just in life in general. So as I graduated college, I took a very unconventional route, you might say. I didn't get a job as soon as I graduated college. My parents were pretty upset about this. And instead, I literally focused all of my energy on myself, my mental well-being, my mental health. I focused on my physical health, and I focused on learning one skill. That was all my focus was. I had a singular focus. And if I have the clarity of thought, if I have the level of commitment, discipline, everything, the awareness, and I just focus on one thing, that inevitably I will become really good at that one thing. That was my singular focus, right? So at that point I went online, like most people, and I was looking for ways to make money, right? Mm-hmm. I was looking for ways to make money on the internet, and there was e-commerce coming up, drop shipping. There was like private label, making your own products. There was selling courses. And at that time, I didn't think I was qualified to be selling courses. I didn't know much per se. And then there was trading, right? So I found trading, and something that, you see all over the internet, see people posting money, cars, trades, whatever. And I was convinced because I basically invested some money into tech stocks, and then they went up, and I was like, oh, I'm going to make, this every day now. Right. So I got kind of brought into it or convinced into it. So So then my singular focus became day trading, right? Became day trading. I'm going to be a day trader, learning Forex, indexes, crypto, everything like that. The one thing that really brought me into crypto, and this might sound crazy, was in 2017, I lost some money, and I lost, for a 21-year-old, I lost a lot of money. And that's what I was like, all right, I need to become more educated on what's going on in the markets fundamentally from a technical standpoint. Like I can't be entering where I did. Like I can't let that ever happen again, right? So that became my like motivation. So yeah, from then started trading myself. As I was going about this, I wasn't making any money, right? And it was extremely difficult. So then after about 6 months to 8 months, I got a job, right? So I realized I had this great degree, and I was like, I'm gonna utilize my degree, get a job, and do my side hustle, on the side, continue to acquire skills and learn on the side. So I first got a job with the shipping company as like a digital marketing specialist, sales development rep. That was kind of my role. And then from there, a position opened up in IT. That's what my major was again. So I got accepted into an IT program with Bayer Pharmaceutical Company. And I started there, and I'm passionate about the IT industry. So I got into there, and everything that I was learning in my role, I was working on emails, I was working on testing automation for our websites, I was working on being a system admin, in different CRM platforms. And I was like, everything that I'm learning here, I have to somehow put back into my business, right? I have to figure out how I can use all these skills. And if I wasn't able to use these skills, and be honest, in my job, if I knew I wasn't gonna be able to use these skills for my business, I was not focused on learning those things. Like I was that, like convictive about what I was gonna do, right? So and that, the average person I was working with was like gonna do anything they could to keep the job. And I didn't care about the job. Like all I cared about was, how can I build my business? That's all I cared about, right? Which to some people might not be the best move in the world, but to me it was. So I had to focus on that. I'd read during lunch every single day. Everyone would go to lunch together. I'd read by myself every single day, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna start a business and not be here anymore, and I'm not focusing on that." So yeah, I started how this started, like getting into how I progressed into where I am now. I started to actually grow a social channel because I realized that what would be extremely powerful was starting an online community for day traders. I myself was still trading myself. I was, again, some success, some failure, right? And I was like, I need to meet more people that are doing what I'm doing. I also, now that I have a few years experience with trading and analysis, and like where to look for information, I certainly know things that other people that are beginners want to start to learn, right? So we created these social channels on Instagram and on YouTube and on Discord, and it was basically just all about day trading. And these channels started to grow, right? These started to grow. I started to leverage, again, skills I was learning in my job, put them into play for my business. We started selling courses, other programs, and then eventually we started to get into affiliate marketing. So we were doing affiliate marketing, and once we started doing affiliate marketing, I kind of realized the channels had started to grow. They were over like 100,000 on Instagram, right? So we started to gain some influence. My contacts started to grow in the industry on who I knew. And then basically got to the point where I realized that we had this influence, we had this power to put out products, and we were peddling, of doing affiliate marketing, you're peddling other people's products. So at one point I was like, how can we create a product that we can put out there that people actually want, that create opportunity, not for ourselves, but for other people, that could be extremely powerful for them. And then that's when I started to get into the idea of starting the Funded Trader, and we can get into like that whole story, but I'm going to pause there and I'll let you get into any questions you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, just want to point out a couple of things. I think they're characteristic of very successful entrepreneurs. You use the phrase "have a single focus." That was everything. Your job was kind of there to pay the bills, but your passion and everything, your energy was put into this singular focus of building a business for yourself, and also applying the skills that you learned to that in there. And I think that was that. And you talked about reading by yourself and stuff like that. And that's another characteristic, is like, you're spending what free time you have and investing in yourself versus, socializing and things like that. So those are two big characteristics I see in a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yeah, like for me, when I think from the point at which I turned 18, every single year for Christmas, I just started asking for books. And then that's when, because I was upset about my situation financially and just what I was doing on a day-to-day basis with college and then with my job and stuff. And I just knew like I just needed more information, right? I needed more information so I can understand certain topics, so then I can get into, all right, like what am I the most skilled at? What do I understand the most? Like where do I have that clarity of thought? And ultimately what it came down to was, as I was reading and meeting with people and talking with people and doing business and stuff, I just ultimately had the most clarity of thought on this one idea about that ultimately became the funded trader, right? Out of almost everyone, I had the most understanding about what we needed to do. And then right at the point where I had all the understanding is when I took like all the action. And then that's when it just became, this big thing.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the funded trader. I mean, it's a huge business right now. And so I saw a figure here. It's worth $160 million, generates multiple seven figures per month in revenue. And it's just huge. I mean, you talked about it in US News and World Report. Tell us what the funded trader is.
Yeah, so what it is in a nutshell is traders are trying out to manage our company's capital. So we created a two-step challenge. Like you said, we decided to gamify the industry. So basically people are proving their skills, their trading skills through taking our trading challenge. If they're able to pass the two-phase challenge, we're then allowing them to trade our capital, and whatever they make on the capital that we give them, they're earning 90% of it. So if they make $10,000 on their account, we pay them out $9,000. So we've paid out about $20 million since we launched about a year and 8 months ago. So obviously the impact for the industry, like I don't know any other company in the US that's having that type of impact on the trading industry right now. Like that's in Forex, crypto, leverage trading, stuff like this. Like a lot of people are selling courses, they're selling signals, they're whatever brokers, stuff like that. But I think what we're doing is like truly revolutionizing this opportunity, because everyone that's trading doesn't have access to money. Like that's really what the problem is. And then a lot of people are trying to make a lot of money with a little money, flipping $1,000 to $10,000, whatever. Like I saw so much of that as I was trying to learn trading, and it's just not the reality. And that's how you lose all your money, right? So we basically made this model where you can enter for anywhere from $300 to $2,000. And with that amount, if you do have the skills and you're able to pass, you then unlock the ability to manage 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 in our capital. And obviously that opportunity for that entry fee is like insane.
Wow. So in a nutshell, people come in, they don't have the capitals, they have to prove themselves, right? So they have to prove that they have some skills and some discipline and some expertise in this. But once they prove themselves, you unlock access to capital for them to trade. And then you basically split the profits with them, but they get 90% and the company keeps 10.
Yeah, and I want to even walk it back like a step. So as I was thinking of this business, I was a trader myself, business person myself, and I was just thinking, I'm like, how do I have the best edge in the market, right? Ultimately, how do I have the best edge in the market? So I knew, based on the affiliate marketing I was doing with these other companies, I knew that trading was extremely difficult, right? I knew the pass rate, the failure rate was going to be high, pass rate was going to be low. And I knew that if we could get a data set where the people who make it through to the funded people are, in a way, they have the best data, right? They're giving the best results. And then we could find a way to monetize that data. We could have like unlimited opportunity. We could make not unlimited money, but maybe we have a ton of opportunity, right? Because we have a unique data set no one else has. We have strategies that are based on the data that we only have. And then we're also generating revenue from all the challenges that are being purchased as well. So yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's such a great idea. And do you have any competitors? Anybody else doing this right now?
So originally, when we got started, we were very early to market. The largest competitor was actually based out of the Czech Republic. So they're called FTMO. And I originally was purchasing challenges with them myself and like trading with them myself, right? So they're definitely right now, I would say the industry leader. Second place, very close second place, is another company called My Forex Funds. They're based out of Canada, I believe, and yeah, they're as big, I would say, as FTMO. They started about 4 months before we did, and then we were the first US company that really came through, that started doing this. And then we, at this point, I will say this, we're definitely the largest company in the US that's doing this right now, based on all the competitors, all the industry analysis that I've done, the website traffic, everything like that. So that's obviously great. And then, there's a whole other piece of this. Like we actually started several other of these companies as well, teaming up with other influencers, kind of like white labeling it, you would
Hmm.
say, to these people. So now, there are other companies like in the US and also internationally that we're a part of that are doing this as well, because it's just the model just makes so much sense for them.
So what's the next step with this? How do you scale it? How do you grow it? What's the biggest challenge in front right now?
Yeah, so right now, I would say as like this is my first role as a CEO, right? So as the CEO of the company, quickly realizing that hiring is really one of the biggest things, especially with the surplus of cash that we have, right? So we have this surplus of cash coming in, and we really need to buckle down like our cash management strategy. That's something that we're certainly focusing on. Risk is certainly something that we're focusing on as well. But from a growth standpoint, how can we hire the key positions? How can we hire them quickly? And we all know that hiring isn't easy. It's something
Hmm.
I've learned very quickly. It's actually very hit or miss, at this point. So, we're not trying to waste so much time on the interviewing process, but we are trying to attract the best talent that we possibly can. So some of the things that I'm very focused on like right now with the company is directly hiring within the next 2-3 months, like bringing on some key players. We just recently hired a director of risk, came over from BlackRock. It's actually my buddy from college, so he's like a real dominant player in his role. So he's coming on, but we want to bring on more additional talent. We have a new website that's coming out. We invested a lot of money into it. So getting that going, really unifying our brand identity across all platforms, so just continuing to get more clarity on like what is our growth strategy, what should we put money into. We're big on the data tracking where everything's coming from. So we use this application called Hyros, which creates like unique links, and then we literally know where all the revenue is coming from, every single link, right? So then we can figure out like where do we put money into. Is it ads, is it Instagram, is it Discord, is it emails, whatever. So we're really big on that. And then one of my personal goals is to have an office, so have a like headquarters. We don't have one right now. Our organization is completely digital, completely remote. So we have people working all over the world, about 40 employees right now. So I personally want to get in person in Miami. So I want to get an office there. I want us to hire more people that will come in person. That way I can mentor them, and also, learn from them as well. I think that would be a really good play for us going forward.
Awesome. And so what advice do you have for maybe some aspiring entrepreneurs? Maybe they have that passion, that idea that you did to start the funded trader. What advice would you give that person to help them get started?
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question. One thing that I did, I'll just speak on experience. That year that I took off after college, a lot of the things that I was doing was in preparation to be in the position that I'm in now. And I say this because I was focusing a lot on my daily routine. I was really focused on, what do I do in the morning? Whether it's exercise, food that I'm eating, reading, whatever, leisure time. Like how am I figuring out how to manage my own time without a schedule, right? I think that's one of the hardest things is when you have a job, everything's structured, right? Like you're going to work 9 to 5, you're forced to do this, you're forced to do that. Well, what's going to happen when you're in a position like me where I'm the boss of the company, right? So I create my own schedule. No one tells me what to do, so you have to really get good with time management. And I think that that's something that you should focus on before you find yourself in a position that I'm in, because if I wasn't great with time management right now, the company per se could really be hurt by it. It could really, like, I don't want to say I'll crumble, but it would definitely be hurt by if I was not managing my time really well. So time management is big. Like, really anticipate you being in the position you're in today. I think that that's really profound, and it's just really important, that self-actualization of, it's like I was in one place at one point, and I was very realistic and very honest about where I was, and I was honest about where I wanted to be. And that's why I was able to humbly learn all the things that I learned along the way, to get to where I am now. And there's a lot more at this point that I need to learn to get to where I want to go, right? So I think that's just remaining humble and like being very honest with where you are is actually very important too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of wise advice there. I mean, first of all, you're working on you, right? You took that year, and in spite of you joked about it, your parents weren't happy about it, but most people, especially when they get out of college, it's like, okay, their focus is, okay, get a job, get into that routine, and start paying your bills. And that's where we're guided by our parents and other people, because that's the normal. But you took that time to work on you. And I love what you said about scheduling. You control your own schedule, so you need to develop that discipline to control your schedule, because you don't have a boss that's telling you when you have to show up and what to do and when you can eat lunch and so on. So
yeah,
great stuff there. We're running out of time, but where can people go? Where can our audience go to learn more about you, to learn more about the Funded Trader?
Yeah, so to end it off, I started an Instagram page like the first day that I really committed to this entrepreneur journey. I named it Saved by FX. So it's on Instagram if you guys want to find me on there. I'm also on Discord, so I'm big in our Discord community. You can find really all of our social channels by just going to Instagram, The Funded Trader. Our website link is in there. We have a link tree. So just go over to Instagram, go over to my Instagram. Feel free to shoot me a DM. I also have a link to schedule a call. I am open to hop on calls with certain people. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And we'll have those links here with the podcast as well. So our guest today has been Angelo Ciaramello. So Angelo, really appreciate it. A lot of great golden nuggets here for aspiring entrepreneurs. And I just love the success you've had at a young age. And I love the fact that you said it, you're so humble that you don't know what you don't know, and you're still learning a lot to grow your business. And we just wish you the best success in the future.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brian. Really appreciate it, and best of luck to you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Good Life, Great Life, brought to you by Brian Highfield. We hope you enjoyed listening to this week's guests and stories. If you like what you've heard, please consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts.